Hey guys, this is DbdKmp, best noob in the house, and I'm with DaBLackKing, and we're here to talk about a segment together. He'll be uploading his own a little bit after mine. I will be recording mine, an actual video after this. Yay! For quite a while. But before we get into that, let's talk about, because we're here to discuss this actual subject is going to be about writing in us. And what it's going to be is because we thought we'd share a segment together because we don't normally talk about this subject. That's exactly right, DbdKmp. If I may interrupt. Yeah, sure. Well, yeah, that's how it is. Well, anyway, so don't mind if I interrupt again there because it is kind of my time there. Do you DaBLackKing? No, it's okay. Go ahead. So anyway, guys, I just want to talk about that the gaming schedule coming up is going to be one video a day, along with DaBLackKing, whether it's before or after DaBLackKing. Isn't that right, DaBLackKing? Yeah. And we both have agreed to that. Isn't that correct, DbdKmp? Yep, we have. And it's not like it's going to be the same video, you know. And so each day we will have our own recording session of what game we're going to particularly be recording. And it don't matter if it's already the first game or the last game in the series of whatever the hell we're doing. Isn't that right? Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. And we just want to talk about how important it is and stuff that you guys know that together we are going to be, because we both come on. We both share this recording platform. We just don't always record together either. We don't always sync up together when we're doing this. We both have our own separate schedules, our own what to record, and we both agreed to do this before, after. It doesn't matter who goes first, but it does matter in terms of that. But anyway, so go ahead, DbdKmp, about writing. I'm sorry about talking about third person. That's fine, man. That's cool, bro. Thank you. So anyway, yeah, you see, writing to us is not something we're capable of doing. Now, it's not to say that we haven't tried it, and it's good. We have been doing some bit of writing here and there. We've got our own, well, we have a book here that's not exactly up to date or anything. A few of them. One was to do with poems, one to diary, and one was to do with math. And I gotta say though that writing is not a subject that we get into. Now, it's a great thing to get into. That's what you can do. I mean, it's actually a little bit more easier than typing out and getting corrected. Because although, I say a little bit easier, but when it comes to writing, let's just point out this before we go on, that this is a screen of no gameplay. And so that you can concentrate on what I'm saying and what DaBLackKing is saying. I forgot to mention that as well. I'm going to start to make a more notable when we start talking about this, because this is going to be a new series. It's part of the update series, but it's going to be in... I'm not going to make a separate playlist called Writing and Me or whatever, especially when I do announcements. I'm going to try to keep them all in one deal. Unlike some people, which, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say anything bad against them for doing that. I'm not going to. Sorry. But if you're going to take it that way, then you need to take it on somewhere else, because that's not what this is about, okay? When they do that thing, that's fine. That's their deal. I'm just not going to do that particularly. And neither am I. Yeah, so. Anyway, so the screen right here, I actually downloaded this sort of thing as a way to kind of concentrate, not only as a fresh predictive not only as just a deal, but I just did it as a way to kind of keep you from being distracted, because there's no gameplay, no nothing. We're just going to be sitting here talking, so I'm not going to talk for like an hour or so, but anyway. So, writing, again, back to writing, so I just want to say that it's just not something I get into. I'm thinking about doing it, but I don't know if I want to, be honestly fair, especially because I never had good hands. I'm lucky if I can play on a controller these days. Yeah. And I mean, me and DaBLackKing, we shared the same kind of hand philosophy. We don't, that makes any sense. Isn't that right? Yeah, it is. It's true. We don't have any. I mean, we can hold a pen. We can, by the way, I mean obviously DbdKmp and I, DaBLackKing. We can hold a pen and write, but there's only so much we can do, and then it just gets to us, and we just can't, Yeah, I mean, and this is one of the very few times I'll be talking with DaBLackKing. We won't be always doing this on every segment when we talk about writing and me, or writing in us, because we don't want to sound like we're getting onto someone else or anybody else who's ever doing a writing and whatever. Because even though it does sound like it, but it's not the way it's meant. That's what we're also trying to explain here within this process. Is that it's fine and everything, but we're just not able to do a lot of things. We can barely even play on a piano. Still can do a little bit, but not as good as it could because we're not that good at coordinated with a keyboard. Key on a playing a game, best thing in the world. When the thing decides to cooperate, that is. And by that, I mean the emulator that I use. And believe it or not, the emulator that DaBLackKing has had a little bit of trouble, but not as half as bad as this one. Oh my God. I cannot stress that enough. But when you talk about having a good emulator, Classic Boy is good. Well, originally it was anyway, until they get the APAC in there, some kind of thing that kind of makes it, I don't know, either that or it's just, I don't know what's going on. All I know is I've just had a bunch of problems with it. And if you've seen a video of me, I don't know when I'm going to post this up, but yeah, this is being recorded on Monday, February 17th of the year 2020. So, yeah, and it's been a long while since I've actually recorded anything, to be fair. So, and thus, I want to point out, though, that it's not like I'm not going to do anything. I have just been taking some time off, and it's nothing like, oh, well, I'm trying to be on a hiatus. I've had a lot of problems come up lately. Physically. Not just the cold air. The cold air, even then I don't like to really record. If it's too dang cold that I can hardly put my hands on the screen. Even if I was playing this on a controller. If it was freezing cold, to the point that I couldn't even hardly do anything. And well, actually I could still do something with a controller. All I have to do is put it underneath a blanket that's warm. But a phone, that's impossible. Really. I'm trying to do it because still there's seeping cold air is coming into there. And that's not an easy thing to deal with. But either way, yeah, so upcoming LPs will be put on hold because only so much amount of space. I'll have to delete things again. I'm not going to have to delete Mystic Quest and Zelda, thankfully. But I will be deleting, A Link to the Past, anyway. I will be deleting Ocarina of Time. Now, not right now. It's going to be a program that I'm going to try to LP for the time being. And that includes Super Mario World. They will be deleted in exchange for some other ones until, obviously, the time comes that I have more of a variety range where I can actually do more. And I promise you that... Well, actually, I can't make no promises or guarantees right now that it will happen at all. But I can promise you and guarantee you that if it does happen, it does happen. And I want to continue on to do more, games and stuff. But at the same time, when it comes to mobile, there's only so much I can do without me having to sacrifice games. And that's going to be a problematic deal. Now, I don't want to get into heavily into, Nintendo 64 until I've gotten through all the games that I know I'm going to be able to play, at least on Super Nintendo. So, even then, I might just kind of spice it up and just kind of get one anyway for Nintendo 64 and kind of switch it out, here and there, because of how much space I actually have. Because, yes, I will be continuing on. So, anyway, any more before we go, or I go anyway, because obviously I'm the one that's recording this session. Any more thoughts, or you gotta say they're DbdKmp? Yeah, actually I do. Writing is not something that's an easy capability. It's not something that can be easily done if you're having a lot of problems physically. And that's just physically. I mean, a lot of times, yeah, you can pretty much. You don't need to be a genius, obviously. Isn't that right? DbdKmp. Yeah, it's true. I agree with that. Well, anyway, with writing, you see, you have this thing, okay? You have to perform and be able to think of ideas. And ideas, it's not to say I couldn't think of any ideas, nor DbdKmp. I'm not trying to speak for him. No offense to me. No, that's not done taking. He's right. I don't, I don't really do that either. But anyway, what was I saying now? Well, anyway, when you talk about writing, it's not something that takes a talent. It really doesn't. Writing has nothing to do with talent. Writing just has to do with if you're able to do it physically. If you're not able to physically do it, unless you've got some kind of psychokinetic powers or something with that, that has other means when you can't use your hands to obviously type out, or not type out, but write with your actual hand. Even, what's his name? I can't think of his name now, that was in a wheelchair. He was a genius, but he couldn't write too well because he was unable, but even then, he was still able to write. So, really, yeah. But, see, because that right there ought to prove to you right there, you don't need talent to write. It's just, if you want to be able to write good, I suppose you might say. I think there's ever such thing as writing perfectly anyway. Because if there was so much perfectness, everybody would be about the same. It would be I mean, if you think about it, yeah, technically everybody's perfect in their own way. But when you generally talk about being perfect to the point that there are no mistakes, never ever going to make a mistake, and while that's true, you could make no mistakes, eventually you would do it anyway, because it's inevitable. Mistakes are supposed to happen. They're meant to happen. And life will always breed these kind of problems. It's a test. It's a trial we all have to face. And, well, it's not my place to say anything for this video, which I'm not sure what I would be trying to say there, but anyway. I just want to say that, it's every day you have to get up and face a trial anyway. And all the things, the thorns in your path are the way to go. And so, you don't want a smooth and clean road, except for one that goes through thorny. Maybe then, only then, is that ever the best choice. Because in order to have nothing but smooth and clean, and not have thorny, it would lead to nothing but trouble for you. And that's not something you want. Nobody wants that. I don't care who you are. So, anyway, that is that. And writing is, again, something that takes just patience, physicality. It's not an art. Although you can make art if you're good at it. And that's not me trying to say that I'm trying to judge anybody. Because everybody has their own ways to make art. And although there's some art that's like, okay. Because all the years I have learned that, for one thing, that, I mean, not that I've never learned not to judge anybody. It's just, when you look at art and you look at it a certain way, you are judging someone. So what you got to take back from that is you got to think about it like this: when they make art, it's not going to be the grandest, most perfectest thing, or just going to be better than somebody else's. And that's not what it's there for. It's just to be there because that's how they were able to perform it. That's what they could create. And it's not that terrible. I mean, yeah, it looks like it shouldn't be, but hey, even I'll be the first one to admit that. And even so, will it be the artist who actually draws it? It's like, yeah, well, it's not all that in a bag of chips. But other than that, art is art, and maybe writing is in a way its own art form. But other than that, it's not really an art. Like it's like, So really, when you discuss about writing, it's more like what you're able to do, what you're, able to put out there. Even if it's 500 pages, although that may take you a while, depending on how well your patients are and how well that you're able to physically write out. No matter what age you are, it might take you even longer, depending on what your physicality is, with your hands and your energy and whatever else is going on. I'm not here to determine that, because that's not my job. But I will say, for final closing thoughts, that remember that when it comes to writing, it's not about whether or not you're better at it than someone else. Who cares about that? The better reality, if you want to think about it that way, then is that you just got to be able to do it. And if you don't, then you don't. That's up to you. That's your choice. No one should make you, not even the words that they're saying, should ever make you or force you to have to write unless you just want to. Don't feel bad just because you couldn't write. Don't feel bad just because you couldn't do art. Better than somebody else, quote unquote. Who cares about that? The better thing to think about here in the situation when it comes to that kind of thing is that you're doing the best that you can. And you're only human. You make mistakes, you have flaws, and it's time that you learn to deal with it. In other words, accept it. Be free and accept what you are. Don't accept what you're not. Never try to accept what you're not or try to be what you're not. It's something that even I know, and I have had to learn over the years. Even if you think you already know it, you're still steadily learning it. Even I'm steadily learning it still over the years. I'll still be even if I survive, which I don't know about that for a fact, like well into my hundreds or whatever. I just know, wow, where did this key come from? I just know that for a fact that even, if I survive long enough, which I'm not going to guarantee or promise that, but if it happens, it happens. That if I live long enough, that I will be undoubtedly, in the whole process of, what's the word I'm looking for? Still learning about that. No matter how much you may learn, no matter how much you communicate, it's not to say that I know it all, but I do know it all. I don't know everything, though. Nobody does. No matter how many people say that they do, or some kind of machine, or whatever. You don't know everything. Even Data didn't know everything. But he was smart enough to figure out a lot of things. On his own. Because he still had to learn things. If he knew everything, he would be able to be human without being human, I suppose, as you might say. But other than that, Data was unique. I know he's fictional, but in a lot of ways, we are like Data, believe it or not. In a lot of ways, we're not. Let me explain to you what I mean by that. In other words, our brains function like a machine, except that there's a difference. Machines aren't flesh. They don't feel blood, but they can feel pain. Can be, in other words, if they're programmed, or if they can just finally learn to adapt to it, so they got to be programmed to learn to adapt to eventually get it all on their own. It's still a programming process, no matter which way. Yes, we have to be programmed too, through life. See, life programs us, and so does our own parents, but that's life going through our parents. And yeah, you could also argue and say that God's the one technically doing it, but technically you can also say that he's not. But either way, it doesn't matter how it's being done. You just gotta know that we're all being programmed. We're not being brainwashed, other than by life, if you want to think about it that way. Yeah, we're being brainwashed to live it, to breathe it, to die it. I suppose you might want to think about it that way. But either way, that's how she rolls. That's how the cookie crumbles. And if you cannot see that, then I don't know what to tell you. I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to tell you what to do. I'm just saying my piece on it. Later. Alright, I'll let you wrap this up, DbdKmp. Sorry about the long, aggravated, talk. Oh, that's cool, dude. That's cool. Anyway, guys, yeah. So, you've heard our piece on it, so... writing won't be a thing that will be every episode, but we'll try and make something out of it later, guys. This has been DbdKmp with DaBLackKing. And we'll all see you later. Yeah. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.